Good morning, guys. So, I'm back to read chapters 9 and 10. Oh, wait, no, sorry. 8 and 9 of Tender's the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I know we have a friend with us, but here, maybe if I scoot a little closer, he won't get right there. I'm gonna try reading outside again. It's way earlier in the morning. I think the golf course literally just opened, so I don't think it will be too crowded. So hopefully it'll be okay. Also, chapters 8 and 9 are pretty short, so let's go ahead and start. Chapter 8. Violet breathed loud and hard once, and with an effort brought another expression into her face. Dick came finally, and with a sure instinct he separated Barbin and the McCuskos and became excessively ignorant and inquisitive about literature with McCusko, thus giving the latter the moment of superiority which he required. The others helped him carry lamps up, and would not be pleased to carry lamps helpfully through the darkness. Rosemary helped meanwhile, responding patiently to Royal Dumfries' inexhaustible curiosity about Hollywood. Now, she was thinking, I've earned a time alone with him. He must know that, because his laws are like the laws Mother taught me. Rosemary was right. Presently, he detached her from the company on the terrace, and they were alone together, borne away from the house toward the seaside wall. Okay, if you hear like chomping, it's because the dog decided to go right next to the speaker and chew on some plants. So I might have to move spots. I think this is a better spot. They looked out over the Mediterranean. Far below, the last incursion boat from the Isles des Larens floated across the bay like a 4th of July balloon, footloose in the heavens. Between the black isles it floated, softly parting the dark tide. I understand why you speak as you do of your mother, he said. Her attitude toward you is very fine, I think. She has a sort of wisdom that's rare in America. Mother is perfect, she prayed. I was talking to her about a plan I had. She told me that how long you both stayed in France depended on you. On you, Rosemary all but said aloud. So since things are over down here... Over, she inquired. Well, this is over. This part of summer is over. Last week, Nicole's sisters left. Tomorrow, Tommy Barbin leaves. Monday, Abe and Mary North are leaving. Maybe we'll have more fun this summer, but this particular fun is over. I want it to die violently instead of fading out sentimentally. That's why I gave this party. What I'm coming to is, Nicole and I are going up to Paris to see Abe North off to America. I wonder if you'd like to go with us. Okay. What did Mother say? She seems to think it would be fine. She doesn't want to go herself. She wants you to go alone. I haven't seen Paris since I've been grown, said Rosemary. I'd love to see it with you. That's nice of you. Did she imagine that his voice was suddenly metallic? Of course we've been excited about you from the moment you came on the beach. That vitality, we were sure it was professional, especially Nicole was. It never used itself up on any one person or group. Her instinct cried out to her that he was passing her along slowly towards Nicole, and she put her own brakes on, saying with an equal harness, I wanted to know all of you, too, especially you. I told you I fell in love with you the first time I saw you. She was right going at it that way, but the space between heaven and earth had cooled his mind, destroyed the impulsiveness that had led him to bring her here, and made him aware that the too obvious appeal, the struggle with an unrehearsed scene and unfamiliar words. Every time I move away, he moves his head closer to me to chew on the little things he's chewing on. You shouldn't eat bark. Okay, well, this is ASMR / reading. He tried not to make her want to go back to the house, and it was difficult, and he did not quite want to lose her. She felt only the draft blowing as he joked with her good-humoredly. You don't know what you want. You go and ask your mother what you want. She was stricken. She touched him, feeling the smooth cloth of his dark coat like a chasuble. She seemed about to fall to her knees. From that position, she delivered her last shot. Fall to her knees? Sorry. I think you're the most wonderful person I've ever met, except my mother. You have romantic eyes. His laughter swept them up toward the terrace, where he delivered her to Nicole. No. Sit. Stop. Okay. This spot is like far from things to chew. I know for a fact there will still be noises from him figuring things out, but whatever. Too soon it had become time to go, and the divers helped them all to go quickly. In the diver's big Azada, where there would be Tommy Barbin and his baggage, he was spending the night at the hotel to catch an early train with Mrs. Abrams, the McCuskos, and Campion. Earl Brady was going to drop Rosemary and her mother on his way to Monte Carlo, and Royal Dumfries rode with them because the diver's car was crowded. Down in the garden, lanterns were glowed over the table where they had dined, as the divers stood side by side in the gate, Nicole blooming away and filling the night with graciousness, and Dick bidding goodbye to everyone by name. To Rosemary, it seemed very poignant to drive away and leave him in their house. Again, she wondered what Mrs. McCusko had seen in the bathroom. Oh, yeah. We still don't know about that, but we'll find out a little later. Okay. It was a limpid black night. Oh, chapter 9. It was a limpid black night, hung as in a basket from a single dull star. The horn in the car ahead was muffled by the resistance of the thick air. Brady's chauffeur drove slowly. The taillight of the other car appeared from time to time as turning, then not at all. But after 10 minutes, it came into sight again. Drawn up in the side of the road. Brady's chauffeur slowed up behind, but immediately began to roll forward slowly, and they passed it. In the instant they passed it, and they heard a blur of voices from behind, the readiness of the limousine, and saw that the diver's chauffeur was grinning. Then they went on, going fast through the alternating banks of darkness and thin night, descending at last in a series of roller coaster swoops to the great bulk of Goss's hotel. Rosemary dozed for 3 hours and then lay awake, suspended in the moonshine. Cloaked by the erotic darkness, she exhausted the future quickly. With all the eventualities that might lead up to a kiss, but with the kiss itself as blurred as a kiss in pictures. She changed position in bed deliberately, the first sign of insomnia she had ever had, and tried to think with her mother's mind about the question. In this process, she was often acute beyond her experience, with remembered things from old conversations that had gone into her half-heard. Rosemary had been brought up with the idea of work. Mrs. Spears had spent the slim leavings of the men who had widowed her on her daughter's education, but when she blossomed out at 16 with that extraordinary hair, rushed her to Ike's Les Bains and marched her unannounced into the suite of an American producer who was recuperating there. When the producer went to New York, they went too. Thus, Rosemary had passed her entrance examinations. With the ensuing success and the promise of comparative stability that followed, Mrs. Spears had felt free to tactically imply tonight. You were brought up to work, not especially to marry. Now you found your first nut to crack, and it's a good nut. Go ahead and put whatever happens down to your experience. Wound yourself or him. Whatever happens, it can't spoil you because economically you're a boy, not a girl. Rosemary had never done much thinking, save about the illimitability of her mother's perfection, so this final severance of the umbilical cord disturbed her sleep. A false dawn set the sky, pressing through the tall French windows. and getting up, she passed out on the terrace, warm to her bare feet. There were secret noises in the air. An insistent bird achieved an ill-natural triumph with regularity in the trees above the tennis court. Footfalls followed a round drive in the rear of the hotel, taking their tone and turn from the Dustin Road. The crushed stone walk, the cement steps, and the reversing the process in going away. Beyond the inky sea and far up that high black shadow of a hill lived the divers. She thought of them both together, heard them still singing faintly a song like rising smoke, like a hymn, very remote in time and far away. Their children slept, their gate was shut for the night. She went inside and dressed in a light gown and espadrilles, went out her window again and along the continuous terrace toward the front door, going fast since she found that other private rooms, exuding sleep, gave upon it. She stopped at the sight of a figure seated on the wide white stairway of the formal entrance. Then she saw that it was Louis Campion and that he was weeping. He was weeping hard and quiet and shaking in the same parts as a weeping woman, a scene in a role she had played last year over her irresistibly and advancing. She touched him on the shoulder. He gave a little yelp before he recognized her. "What is it?" Her eyes were level and kind and not slanted into him with hard curiosity. "Can I help you?" "Nobody can help me." Are you Baloo? I don't understand. He just loves, being the center of attention. It's really cute. "What is it?" Her eyes were level and kind and not slanted into him with hard curiosity. "Can I help you?" "Nobody can help me." "I knew it. I have only myself to blame. It's always the same." "What is it? Do you want to tell me?" He looked at her to see. "No," he decided. "When you're older, you'll know that people who love suffer. The agony, it's better to be cold and young than to love. It happened to me before, but never like this, so accidental, and when everything was going well." His face was repulsive in that quickening light. Not by a flicker of her personality, of movement, of a small muscle, did she betray her sudden disgust with whatever it was. But Campion's sensitivity realized it, and he changed the subject rather suddenly. "Abe North is around here somewhere." "Why, he's staying at the Divers." "Yes, but he's up. Don't you know what happened?" A shutter opened suddenly in a room 2 stories above, and an English voice spat distinctively. "Will you kindly Oh, should I read it in a British accent? No. "Will you kindly stop talking?" That was cringe. Anyway. Rosemary and Louis Campion went humbly down the steps and to a bench beside the road to the beach. "Then you have no idea what's happened?" "My dear, the most extraordinary thing." He is warming up now, hanging on to his revelation. "I've never seen a thing come so sudden. I've always avoided violent people. They upset me so. I sometimes have to go to bed for days." He looked at her triumphantly. She had no idea what he was talking about. "My dear," he burst forth, leaning toward her with his whole body as he touched her on the upper leg, to show her it was no mere irresponsible venture of his hand. He was so sure of himself. "There's going to be a duel." "What?" "A duel with... we don't know what yet." "Who's going to duel?" "I'll tell you from the beginning." He drew a long breath and then said, as if it were rather to her discredit, but he wouldn't hold it against her. "Of course, you were in the other automobile. Well, in a way you were lucky. I lost at least 2 years of my life. It came so sudden." "What came?" she demanded. I don't know what began it. First she began to talk." "Who?" "Violet McKisco." He lowered his voice, as if there were people under the bench. "But don't mention the Divers, because he made threats against anybody who mentioned it." "Who did?" "Tommy Barbin." "So don't you say I so much as mentioned them. None of us ever found out anyhow that it was Violet. None of us ever found out anyhow what it was Violet had to say, because he kept interrupting her. And then her husband got into it, and now, my dear, we have the duel. The morning, at 5 o'clock in an hour." He sighed suddenly, thinking of his own griefs. I almost wish it were I. I might as well be killed now. I have nothing to live for." He broke off and rocked to and fro with sorrow. Again, the iron shutter parted above the same British voice said, "Really, this must stop immediately." Simultaneously, Abe North looked somewhat distracted, came out of the hotel, perceived them against the sky, white over the sea. Rosemary shook her head warningly, but he could speak, and they moved another bench further down the road. Rosemary saw that Abe was a little tight. "What are you doing up?" he demanded. "I just got up." She started to laugh, but remembering the voice above, she restrained herself. Plagued by the nightingale, Abe suggested and repeated, probably plagued by the nightingale. "Has a sewing circle member told you what happened?" Campion said with dignity, "I only know what I heard with my own ears." He got up and walked swiftly away. Abe sat down beside Rosemary. Why did you treat him so badly?" Did I? She asked, surprised. "He's been whooping around here all morning." "Well, maybe he's sad about something." "Maybe he is." "What about a duel? Who's going to duel? I thought there was something strange in that car. Is it true?" "It certainly is cuckoo, but it seems to be true." All right. That's the end of chapter 9. I hope you enjoyed that chapter. So, yeah, she's flirting with this married guy, and he's kind of flirting back, honestly. But he keeps mentioning his wife, which is crazy. Yeah, and I guess 2 members of their little friend group are gonna fight now. But we still don't really know what happened in the bathroom. Alright, so see you guys next time for the next chapters.